Hello, dear friends. We are discussing about the spermatophyta. In this, there are two, as the paleobotany and the angiosperm and gymnosperms. In this, we will discuss about the paleobotany. The paleobotany is a branch of a palynology or the paleontology. The paleontology is a wider geological science which deals with the study of fossils with both plants and the animal kingdoms. Paleobotany is restricted to the fossil plants. Then, as a derivation of the word, it was itself suggests that paleobotany deals with the study of the past plant life. That is, it deals with the study of the plants that had lived and flourished luxuriantly in a geological past, which exists today in the form of the remains. The branch is based on the principles of both botany and the geology, and thus it deals with the findings of a cataloging and interpretation of the fossils of ancient plants. The fossil serves as a tool for the paleobotanical studies, and the basic material is available in the sedimentary rocks. Thus, the blueprint for about the speculation of the plant life is a prehistoric eras that has been assembled from the fragmentary fossil records. The sedimentary rocks are stratified. The sediments accumulate at the bottoms of the sea, lakes, then lagoons, swamps, beaches, and the flooded valleys. The strata of the rocks are visible to us only at the places where the erosion have occurred and by the activities of man such as drill holes, mines, quarries, then railroad and the excavations. Then the scope and the objectives of the paleobotany. It first of all, it has wider scope. It includes two aspects, particularly as botanical and geological. In regards with our botany, the botanical aspects is as they are with they are living luxuriantly and growing today. They are surviving members of the past vegetation. Then the botanical aspects are connected with the morphology of the plants, the distribution, then the evidences of early plant life, then past climate and the environment, coupled with problems of the phylogeny and the evolution. The study of the fossil plants gives idea about paleogeographical distribution of land and water. It introduces us to many extincting plants. In these extinct plants, those are buried the under the soil and they get converted into the fossils. Then the investigations of the fossils of more recent deposits add to our understanding of history of modern vegetation, the origin and the development of the agriculture and the plant economy during the course of civilization. Thus, in short, in addition to the findings, classification, naming, and the interpretation of the fossils, it tells us how those plants were growing, how they are reproduced, and what were their adaptations adapted to those plants in the environment and the gives clear-cut views of this past biology. That is, botanically, it serves us for to find out the ancient plants, to find out their parent ancestors, then how they get classified, how they get flourished, and nowadays how they become a dominance. Then the modern vegetation is blessed on their ancestors. The naming of them and the interpretation of the fossils, it tells us how these plants are were growing in the past. Then geological aspects. Particularly, the geological concepts of the paleobotany center around the calculation of the age of the rocks. Then it is given by the geological time scale. Thus, using of the fossil as a markers of the geological time and the proper sequences of the stratified rocks is determined. Another thing, the natural science aspects. The main contribution of the paleobotany to the natural science is that it has made a more adequate picture of the past life, and so studying phylogeny and the evolution becomes easy. Such as this is the natural aspect of the plant paleobotany. Then applied aspects. Fossil spores and the pollen studied under the paleopalynology have mark bearing in exploration of oil and the coal. Then paleobotanical studies also correlate the phytogeography and the stratigraphy. Then applications of the paleobotany in oil and coal exploration. Before we discussing about it, we must have to know the geological time scale in it. Then we'll turn towards the geological time scale. Then later on we'll cover the role of the paleobotany in oil and coal exploration. The geological time scale, it is classified into the era, period and the epochs. Then era, particularly when we start from the basic as a Precambrian, then Precambrian era, where it is classified into the three zones as a Proterozoic era, Archaeozoic era and the Ozoic era. In a Ozoic era, it is also known as the Dark Age or the No Life. Then, but here is the genesis of Earth in 5,000 million years ago. Before of the 5,000 million years ago, the origin of Earth takes place. Then in Archaeozoic era, there is also no life. It relates near about 3,100 million years ago. But in a Proterozoic era, in a Precambrian period, the origin of life was reported, and the first prokaryotes, eukaryotic cells, and few multicellular plants are reported. Then this is known as the origin of a life, and hence it starts from 3,100 to the 510. Then the actual origin of the life starts from the Paleozoic era. Then from this Paleozoic era, it is classified into the three eras as the Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era and the Cenozoic era. Then start to concentrate on the Paleozoic era first. The Paleozoic era is with the it is classified into the periods and the epochs. Then later on it is with the biological events, those plants are reported from them and age in million years. Then the dominant life, which type of plants are reported from this region, it is mentioned here. Then era, the Paleozoic era is classified into the 6 periods as a Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous and Permian. Again it is again classified into, start from Cambrian to the Devonian, it is classified into the 3 as a lower, middle and upper Cambrian. Then again Ordovician to the Devonian, it is classified into the upper, middle and lower. But the notable thing is that in a Cambrian period, the primitive blue-green algae was reported. That is the blue-green algae, then green algae and few fungi were reported. Then in Ordovician period, it is the possible invasion of the land plants in a first fungi. And also in case of the Silurian, the earliest vascular plants, that is the first vascular plant is reported from the Paleozoic era in a Silurian period, from the epochs like as the upper Silurian Paleozoic era, where they show the earliest vascular plants. Vascular plants means here is a pteridophyte members. Then modern groups of the algae and the fungi becomes dominant, but here is the first vascular plant was reported from the Silurian period. Then the Devonian period. In a Devonian period, rise of the land plants, it's also a notable thing, where the rise of the land plants in the upper Devonian period. Then in a lower Devonian, there was a modern subclasses of the vascular plants become dominant. Then few extinction of the primitive vascular plants and the origin of modern vascular plants. Then the rise of the land plants. This is also the unique feature of the Devonian period. Then the Carboniferous period. As we know that, friends, in case of the Carboniferous period, those plants that get buried under the soil, they get converted into the coal, and the coal mines are reported from the Carboniferous, that is from the Paleozoic era to the Carboniferous period. Then in a Permian, the origin of the conifers, that is the major thing of the gymnosperms, and also the cycads and the jingles, all the members of the gymnosperms were reported. Then it is near about 118 million years ago. Then in Mesozoic era, the Cretaceous, Jurassic and the Triassic, these are the three basic periods, those are reported from them. Again, these periods are classified into the lower, middle and the upper. Then this lower Triassic Mesozoic era shows forest of the gymnosperms and ferns, whereas in case of the Cretaceous, the angiosperms get appeared and become abundant. Then it indicates us that the forest of the gymnosperms are major and dominant in a Mesozoic era, but they get converted into the dominants in the Jurassic period. But later on, the angiosperms become a dominant. Angiosperms become a dominant, and these dominant angiosperms get appeared in a Cretaceous period of the Mesozoic era. In a Cenozoic era, the tertiary and the quaternary. That is, this is the recent period. This is a recent period where the angiosperms become a dominant. In a angiosperms, the Cenozoic era get classified into the two periods as a tertiary and the quaternary. The quaternary period is a recent period, which is also known as the Holocene or the Pleistocene, and the Cenozoic era, when the tertiary period get classified into the Eocene, Oligocene, Miocene and the Pliocene. In a Eocene, the grasslands become expand. As you know that the more than 5,000 varieties of the grasses are reported from the world. That is, the grassland becomes a dominant, it becomes a expanded. Then Oligocene of the Asteraceae and many other modern families of the angiosperms become a dominant. In Miocene, the spread of the grasslands as a forest covers, and the covers whole the world. Then the Pliocene, the herbaceous flowering plants become a dominant and they become abundant. Now the recent period, which is known as the Pleistocene or the Holocene, where the herbaceous flowering plants become a dominant. Then on the basis of it, the Cenozoic era is known as age of angiosperms, Mesozoic era is known as age of gymnosperms, and the Paleozoic era is known as pteridophytes and the age of the thallophytes. All these things can be classified on the basis of the geological time scale. Nowadays, this classification or the geological time scale is utilized for the construction of the excavated fossil plants, and hence by means of this geological time scale, now we can conclude that the past period is of the angiosperms, gymnosperms, then thallophytes and the pteridophytes. All these things nowadays we discuss here. Thank you, my friends.